Okay, what's up, guys? It's great to see you. Welcome to the stream. I am your host, three-time World Series of Poker Bracelet winner Dutch Boyd, and below me is the lovely co-host Michelle J. Cosper, who is 1 year older
Can you guys
and
tell?
wiser
Can you guys tell I look old?
and lovelier today than she was last stream.
Well, thank you.
Happy birthday!
Well, thank you, Dutch. I had a wonderful birthday with Dutch. He took me to high tea. We had a lovely tea party. It was wonderful and magnificent over at the Four Seasons. I highly recommend it.
It
Really
was
good.
wonderful.
It was magnificent, unforgettable at
Oh
the
my
Four
God.
Seasons. You have to
High
give him.
tea with my girlfriend.
You have to give them 24 hours notice, but I had called early, like 7 in the morning, and they squeezed us in. And it wasn't packed at all.
It was like, there
But the
were
food was
three other
really good.
girls there, all having like a little.
Well, the girls came later. We
Girls'
we
Day.
were there right on time for tea.
Besides that, it was just the two of us.
But it was good
Let's see if
food.
we can fit you in.
It was good food, though.
It was actually really good. Michelle likes doing high tea every once in a while, and she's tried a couple of different places. Mondrian,
Mandarin.
over at
What's a
over
Mondrian,
off of
Dutch?
Vidara and Aria.
What is that? What's a Mondrian?
I think.
Speaking of
Mondrian is,
Mandarin and Mandarin, did you know that this is the year of the cock? Happy Chinese New Year, Dutch.
Thank you.
So, yes,
Okay.
I really recommend.
I didn't know.
Yes, it's the year of the cock.
I didn't know.
And
Happy Chinese New Year, everybody.
yes, and I've been to the tea house over at Mandarin, and it has really good ambiance. But the
An
food,
incredible view of Vegas.
yeah, very good
It's,
ambiance.
right on the strip, and it's super high up, and it's just a really great view. Food, not so great.
I don't remember the food being that great either.
It wasn't.
Like, I don't remember.
It was definitely overpriced.
Well, the thing about high tea is that a lot of the times you're going to get a little bit of staleness coming from the sandwiches because they've been sitting out a little bit, or wherever they're at. I don't really understand. But at the Four Seasons, not one iota of staleness.
It was like
It was like
he
they just
wasn't
they
sure
they
he was gonna be
literally
making sandwiches
they
that day.
they literally baked it right there.
If we didn't come in, he probably wouldn't have even made those.
And the
sandwiches.
scones were fresh. Like
They were pretty good.
like I had just took them out of the oven. It was great. And I
That
make
was,
some bomb scones.
That was Michelle's birthday meal. We were gonna go to, hit up the Stratosphere restaurant, but we were so full from tea, so we decided not to.
No, we had clams instead. I felt like having
that's right.
clams. So I felt like going to the Stratosphere, and it's just not gonna be worth it.
Where are you joining us from tonight? It looks like you're in the middle of some nebula.
It's a hint, Dutch.
Faster than light communication.
That's right. Oh, look, an echo.
No.
That's good. Works.
No, it's not. Okay,
You have to turn down the volume.
Sorry, guys. My bad. We're off to a rocky start tonight.
Well, Dutch had to replace his phone, and he was on the line with a Motorola. Is that where it was?
Yeah, my Motorola Nexus 6. Best phone I've ever owned. It's just a beautiful display. It's fast. It doesn't have bloatware. It's just a really good Android phone, and it's been great. I picked it up because it was the go-to phone for the Kali Net Hunter flash.
I thought you got it for Pokemon.
No.
Oh, well.
And I kind of wanted to play around with some of those pen test tools. Never really got around to playing around with it, though.
Wait a minute. I thought you were
Just
going to
play it.
give me the phone now, since it's a
You
it's
can
a
have this
birthday.
one.
Oh.
So it's just been a great phone for 14 months, and then Friday night, I let the battery run all the way down. Gosh, look at this guy betting 60 into 450. I feel like just potting it. Okay, so pocket eights are ahead.
Who got fired? Someone got fired. Oh, thanks, Vice Chip. She wished me the happiest of birthdays, and I think there's an echo. Is there an echo, guys? I don't know. Maybe we're speaking too loud, Dutch.
I'll try to soften the voice. So yeah, phone's bricked. I called them up today, and they said that the phone
You keep on
dropped
saying.
out.
I've noticed that today. You keep on saying that word.
What word? Brick?
Yeah, you keep on saying it. And all I'm thinking about is it's not. You're not using it proper.
No, I'm using it right. A bricked cell
Can you
phone.
just say it's broke?
It's broken.
You said it like
Broken.
3 times, and every time you said it, I was a little annoyed.
Well, there's a difference between something that's broken and something that's bricked.
Is it?
Yes. Bricked means that
I thought
you can't even
bricking
turn
means.
it on.
I thought bricking was a reaction that you have when you play cars and you brick.
Well,
so
that is a brick. You're right. That is.
That's not
it's like,
broken.
I hit a brick on the river. Guess what? I started with Asus 3.4 in RAS, and then it comes brick, brick, brick.
bricks.
Fucking RAS.
So when you refer it to phone, I don't understand.
bricks are never good.
I don't think anyone that you talked to today on customer service understood what you meant
They
either.
all knew what I meant. You guys know what a bricked phone is, right? A bricked phone is basically you can't even diagnose what's wrong with it. You can't even troubleshoot it because you can't even turn it on. It's much different than, say, a cracked screen,
I guess.
or my phone is running slow, or my phone has pixels out.
Broke.
My
broken.
my phone's battery is draining really fast.
Do you have earphones over there, Dutch? Maybe I should hear and see if it's.
Yeah. You want to try these on?
Do you want to stand up and give them to me?
Yep.
No, don't.
I don't know why Michelle's worried. They don't. Radioheads.
Why?
It's good to see you.
What am I hearing here?
And Market Anarchy got hacked. That sucks. Some Asian person is getting his Twitch Prime sub.
It's not me,
It's not Michelle.
so I'm very upset now.
And in other news, Trump looks like he's going to be sending you back to the Philippines. here
I
pretty
hear
soon.
that. I hear
Time to go back to your homeland.
where I belong.
Michelle was telling me some pretty sad
Oh.
things about this Muslim ban. I guess there was some kid who was all signed up.
You
for
have
the
a weird
space
echo,
camp.
a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Let me see if I have. Maybe I have 2 open here. You sound far. Did you mess with your mic?
No.
You do sound a little far away. Like it's not echoing on my thing. It just sounds like you're far.
I could try
Like you're in
adding it again.
space. Like you're in space, dude.
I could try adding it again. You want me to try that? SD Bub subbing 24 months in a row. 2 years. I can't believe we've been going for 2 years. I don't think we've been going for 2 years. Have we been streaming for 2 years now?
Yeah.
I don't think so. But yet SD Bub has been subscribing for 2 years, so it must be true.
Yeah, you sound far, but it's okay. I mean, it doesn't sound bad. Sorry. What were you saying?
It's okay. So it's not bad enough where we have to restart the screen.
Nah. I mean, it doesn't like go on top of each other, but I'll listen to it again in a bit and see how it goes.
So some little kid was coming up for space camp, and then he's stopped at the airport. Sorry, kid, you can't go to space camp.
'Cause
You're not going to be an astronaut because you're from one of these 7 countries.
There's a lot of stories like that, apparently. I don't really understand the ban. From my understanding, that we already had a pretty good vetting process in the country.
Well, I'll tell you, Michelle, I can understand it. I can understand it from Trump's point of view. Trying to keep our country safe. There probably is a much higher rate of of violence from Syrian refugees than there are from just random Americans. Probably just like back in the in the 40s when they were doing the Japanese internment camps, there probably was a higher percentage chance of someone who was being thrown into an internment camp of being a Japanese spy or a Japanese traitor. Probably it doesn't matter. It was still unconstitutional to throw all those people in internment camps back in World War II. Just like this probably is unconstitutional. There's people here who are in school at UNLV trying to come back from the holidays who are not getting back in. Skelly factor firing at half pot. We kind of hit. This isn't quite what I was planning for this hand though, so I'm just done.
I was watching our show. It's pretty good. It's pretty funny, the bricking thing. So it sounds like that your sound is a little bit hollow. Bruce Cohen got it. It's a little hollow. And mine is crisp and clear and perfect. You changed it, right? So we're going to wait 5 minutes, and then I'll check again, okay?
I didn't really change anything.
I thought you re-added it.
No. I'm gonna try though. I'll try.
No, well, what's your levels? Is your gain straight and everything good?
Yeah, it's really good. Okay, let me see if I can't just add the mic to the scene again.
You sound like what the lasers look like, that.
Polarized. Good to see you, man. Okay, I'm gonna try. We're just gonna try to removing it and adding it.
Well, hopefully it works. I don't want to have to restart again.
Yeah, I don't either.
But that's a good though. You had good customer service, and Dutch is getting a new phone. Another good experience this week on customer service is an experience with the Fitbit manufacturer. Our Fitbits died. Well, broke.
Not as bad, right? These aren't bricked Fitbits.
They still work.
They still work. I'll show you what's going on with mine. It's got these bubbles going on in the band, right? So it's just kind of falling apart right here. Just all over. There's just bubbles, bubbles, bubbles. And then on Michelle's, that little clip right there,
my M charging clip,
which is kind of surrounding it, is actually falling off. And it's kind of important because it has a little button on the side. And so pop those back on. Hers could probably just be fixed with a little bit of super glue. And mine can probably be fixed with a new band. It looks like there's bands that you can go and buy for the Fitbit and stick a paper clip somewhere and basically just take the band off and put a new one on. So this isn't that big of a deal. There's a couple of screws back here, I guess. I don't know. But Fitbit was like, oh yeah, we'll just send you two new ones. I was like, oh, okay. Do we need to send these back to you? And they're like, no, just recycle them. Just throw them away. It's like, okay. So we'll see if the echo's still there. You know what? I should change I should change my background so when you're watching, you know that.
Somebody's speaking to you on Steam there.
On Steam? Yes.
Okay. Sounds fine to me now. I heard a beep in Steam.
You're speaking to me on Steam.
That was me? No, I'm not speaking to you. Did I send you some comment on Steam?
So Hollywood guy, what's wrong with my phone? It won't turn on. It won't accept a charge. I thought that maybe it was the micro USB, so I went out and bought a wireless charger where you just like put your phone on.
Which is pretty cool.
It
Does
is
will,
kind of
will
cool.
it charge my phone too and my Kindles and stuff?
If it depends on, I don't know. It
Well, I
depends
think
on
you should
the
reach-
type of
well, I
battery
guess-
you have.
Really? Here, will you put my Kindle on top of it?
I'm a little afraid to try.
Oh.
We'll look it
Here,
up afterwards.
put this glass glass on top of it.
What do you
What do
you
it
think
might
happen?
charge the ions in
Electrolytes
it. Electrolytes. It helps the environment.
might help our poker tonight.
Hey, Jay Ruffer.
It's got electrolytes. Jay Ruffer, good to see you, man. So no, I don't need a phone, Jay Ruffer. Motorola is just gonna replace it. But when I called them, so it broke on Friday. I called them. They said that it was. Yeah, let's go ahead and make the bet here. I think Ace 8 is probably the best hand. They told me that the warranty was out yesterday. So I was like, oh,
Jay Ruffer's funny.
that sucks. No warranty.
it
It's gonna
just-
cost me $175 to replace a $245 phone.
Yeah, if you guys want to,
was
rig
new 2 years
the
ago.
warranty, you got to wait a week, at least. Not
But-
the day of.
Yeah, I guess they said, you know what though? Since we were closed yesterday, we're gonna just give you the new phone. It's like, there we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I look different on the camera today because the colors are right. I don't know how that happened. You're a little bit paler. Maybe it's the sky. Maybe the nebula is making me look different.
So the two of diamonds is pretty much the worst card we could have hoped for. The diamond draw got there. I guess what we're hoping for here is that River Roberto has a weaker ace, like ace 4, ace 5, and our 8 plays. He's firing out half pot. I guess we're going to go ahead and pay him off. 4-2. Nice hand there, buddy.
What'd you have there?
Ace 8. So River Roberto, I can't give him the bony fish. He already has a bony fish.
Oh, nice. Vice chick that said that she has replaceable bands on her Fitbit as well.
Yeah, I don't know, Market Anarchy. I got to admit, constitutional law is not my field of expertise. I don't really know too much about it. I know that there's some due process issues, and there's some equal protection issues with the new Muslim ban. Maybe
It's not considered a
some
Muslim
First
ban.
Amendment
Dutch.
issues. Come on, it's a Muslim ban. But I don't know. I mean, it seems to me, there's a few judges which think that it is unconstitutional and are actually putting out some orders against it.
That's good. What is it? And some good. Well, we'll just see how it goes. I think everybody's a little bit.
I'll tell you one thing that kind
Busy.
of upsets me is I've heard that Democrats now are going to be trying to block Trump's Supreme Court appointment, which I feel like it was wrong when the Republicans did it to Obama, and it would be wrong for Democrats to block it for Trump. He's our president. He's going to make his pick. Let him make his pick. And I'm going to hate his pick. If it's anything like Scalia, I'm going to hate his pick. I think Scalia was about the worst justice we've ever had. Okay, so we've had a lot of bad justices, a lot of racist justices. We'll say of the current 9 when he died, I think that he was he probably wasn't even as bad as Clarence Thomas, really, when I think about it. So he's like the second worst judge, in my opinion,
The judges?
on the modern court. Scalia. Gosh,
Well-
some of the things he said about I mean, he was so religious. Some of the things he said about being in this literal war against the devil really kind of scared me.
Well,
Uh,
a lot of people in our country
I feel
believe
like
that. Still,
yeah, but he took it to another level. You know, there's a pretty far stretch from being spiritual or even religious and going to church every week and thinking that you're an instrument of God in the fight against the devil, and your position on the Supreme Court is there so that you can keep the devil from influencing our country. I mean, he was very. He didn't really pull any punches. He was, very straight up with his beliefs, and it was a little scary and a little bit refreshing, honestly, as far as his willingness to just, lay it on the line.
oh,
Most
speaking
people
of
who,
religion,
let's
did
go
you know
check
that the Mormon Church they're going to buy several acres in Florida and build a city there? Or
I did know
little
that. You told me that earlier
commune.
today.
Yeah, I know. Mormon. Let's go see what. So why you guys are worried about Trump and worried about this Muslim bans? The Mormons, they're buying some property and they're going to make a city.
A new
So,
Salt Lake City.
Just
A new
right under your
Provo.
noses, guys. Right under your noses. Mormon City of Florida. The Mormon City of Florida. Let's see what it says. You don't want them to ban the. You don't want them to filibuster.
Crown Royal says, will you stream a couple more days a week if I send you $1 million? Nope, I would retire. I would retire and move to the Caribbean.
Just a
No more
million.
streaming.
It's a ranch. Let's see. Maybe it wasn't a ranch. What was it? Florida.
Design Pro, good to see you, man. Not the flop we're looking for with our pocket nines. So yeah, just basically throwing chips around for a little bit until the rebuy period ends in 20 minutes. I don't really want to put too many bullets into this thing. I would like this to be a $30 tournament instead of a $50 tournament. I think we're going to be going pretty deep in this, though. The last two times we played it, both nights last week, we final tabled, which is not. That's actually a pretty good run. I'm hoping to continue that run tonight. Tonight we're shooting for second. We're going to call the shot. I'm gonna go ahead and get second in this thing. If we get second to Skelly Factor or Flip AAAA or Design Pro, I'll be happy.
Oh, apparently they already have this area. So
But probably we're going to get second to Texas to Nevada because he's on a hell of a run this last week. He won 2 tournaments on WSP.com last week.
is that right?
Yeah, our very own Texas to Nevada. Modest with the mostest. If you're chilling out with us, it's good to see you, man. Good luck in this. It looks like he's in this one. He's got more chips than I do, so.
Maybe it was the city they were planning. Apparently they already own a lot of Florida. There it goes. From book to boom. How the Mormons plan a city for 500,000 in Florida. Found it. It's on the Guardian. I had to word it right. Apparently they bought the land a long time ago. And they plan to have 500,000 people there by 2080.
I wonder if they plan on banning Google in that city.
So they bought it a
man.
while ago. I was wrong there.
I
That one
am
bought
Jay
it.
Stew says Scalia is one of the better justices. So
Is he?
he's living in a fantasy world where Scalia is still alive, and he can say that as if he's still on the panel. No, you're wrong there. I'm Jay Stew. Everyone knows that you're wrong. That Ginsburg is the best justice.
I love Ginsburg. Did you watch the Aussie Millions, Dutch?
No. No, I didn't.
But who won the Aussie Millions? An amateur who satellited his way in.
So let me take a look.
Pretty cool.
We've got Ginsburg, Kennedy, Roberts, Breyer, Alito, Sotomayor, Clarence Thomas, Elena Kagan, and Scalia. So you're going to put Scalia at the very top, huh? I'm Jay Stu. Why not? Why not? I would put him at the very bottom, right above Clarence Thomas. And then I'd probably be putting Roberts down there. Ginsburg is my favorite. Kennedy is up there. Breyer's up there. Sotomayor, Kagan. I'd put Roberts down.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it.
Well, Scalia was definitely one of the votes for Citizens United.
Is that the corporations are a person, my friend? Corporations are people, my friend. Yeah, does anybody have the link to the executive order? I would like to read it myself about the ban on foreigners coming to our country. Hey, Mr. K-Fish. Good to see you. 3 Hammer Time. What's up? Oh. So the executive order mentions Christianity? That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Did you read the
So-
executive order? I tried to find it and I couldn't find it exactly, but I read people who read it.
No, I haven't read
But
it.
I haven't had time to read it. But if somebody has the link to it, that'd be great. So I don't have to sit there and find
I guess
it.
I probably should. I should care more. I should care more about it. It's
Well, we
hard
were
for me
busy.
to get too riled
We were
up
busy.
about it.
We were busy battling people on Facebook, trying to tell them that they don't understand.
That's pretty much the extent of my dissent here.
No, but seriously though, guys, I know there has to be a good reason
There's
he did what he did. I don't think the ban in general is a good idea because it's affecting people in a very adverse way.
people think it's that
And I feel like it's racist.
some people think it's going to make us safer. Other people think it's going to make us less safe because it's going to foster animosity and it doesn't actually really prevent anything.
That's what I think.
I think it's probably going to go more that way, but
I also think it's the same way as the wall. I mean, that
feel like
wall
the
is going to be
left-
ridiculous.
I feel like the liberals out there,
Hey, Captain Whisker.
and I count myself in that group, but I feel like there's definitely a downplaying of the threat that fundamentalist Islam presents to our way of life.
You think what? It's a downplay of
I think
the
that
threat?
I think I think liberals are downplay that threat and say, oh well, we have to be accepting of every religion, even if
Well, unless
if
the
the
Mu-
religion
unless
spells out
unless
that
the
they want
Mormons
to
build the
eliminate
city.
the infidels. I mean, this is a problem.
I'm worried
You know,
about
you
the
don't
Mormons.
see a lot of Mormon terrorist bombings
Yet.
I
But
don't,
you have to. But remember why? I mean, the whole the animosity between Christian versus Muslim started with way back when Christianity came in and people were trying to force Christianity down the throats of people. And they have conquered a lot of cities and civilizations
There's no doubt been a lot
that
of
Christianity's dominated. I mean, the Philippines is a Christian dominated country because of the people coming in there and forcing religion down their throat. They, what was their original belief? We don't know. I don't know. You might know. Boning Fish might know.
It's a good question. What
I mean,
was
there's
the predominant
their
religion
belief.
out in the
What was their
Philippines
belief
before,
system? I mean, like Hawaii. Hawaii has their
before
own
America
stories.
basically colonized the Philippines back in the late 1800s, early 1900s? It's a good
I mean,
question.
we just in a perfect world there would be no religion.
I believe that. You believe that, but most people don't.
I know that, but I'm
You know,
saying
most people who are watching us don't believe.
I know that. But to say that to say that Muslims are violent and making the worst of Muslims be represented by the worst of them. I mean, Muslims being represented by the worst of them. That's not right. It's like having America being represented by the worst of us. You know, we're not all xenophobic, crazy, hamburger eating people.
I like hamburgers.
I know. I like hamburgers too. I just was picturing that Carl's Jr. commercial, the most American commercial. But I mean, to put a people under a cat, that's how it makes it easier to not like them, or easier to fester that hate within the country. Because now it's, you're a Muslim. I don't like. I'm scared to wear, like, if I was drying my hair, I'd be scared to wear a towel on my head and going out in public, just in case somebody mistaken it for one of those hijabs. It's just really weird. So weird. It's like self-prophesizing hate, because people are now they get anxieties. Like I don't like to go to a store and getting anxiety because people are dressed different. Just because there's going to be anxiety from one side or the other, it's just there now. Hey, Bob. Good to see you. Did I lose you in your table? I did. Oh, they moved you again.
We got Scorpio subbing 13 months in a row.
Nice Scorpio.
Really appreciate that.
How come I
Okay,
can't
so
see you?
Ace
I don't
enough
see you
suit. I'm gonna
anymore.
go and just make the fold here. It's a little nitty. If the antes were actually in, I would be making the raise. We're so close to the rebuy period, though, that I kind of feel like the idea of fold equity here is just non-existent. We're going to see a flop, and I think that there's a decent chance that we're going to get 3-bet at this stage of the tournament. Market Anarchy says, do you know what the cost of taking one refugee in America could buy and providing them refuge in a Middle Eastern country? 12 to 1.
What does that mean?
It means that instead of taking in refugees, we could use that same money to put them in a country that has a lower cost of living. But Market Anarchy, no one's doing that.
Yeah.
No one's suggesting that we use the savings to put them up in posh apartments in Lebanon. No one's suggesting that. So I feel like it's just like,
yeah, and it's not a really fair thing to say, because economies in different countries are very, very complicated. It's not like, oh, just put them here and they'll be fine. It's not a situation like that. Otherwise, I'm sure people would. I do know that a lot of the money that we do give as a country to other countries, only like 20 cents of it goes to the people. So, I mean, there definitely needs to be some fixing in how America spends money. And I also think it's hugely complicated. I don't think we should be spending more money on military, for example. And I do think that if there are people that are refugees because of war, or they're just wanting to live. That's all. It's not their fault that their country is crazy. It's not their fault that a handful of radicalized people are making their country miserable. I mean, really, a handful of people are making our country today difficult in both ways. But, it's definitely complicated. I do hope Trump does well, but I do think that this ban that he did I don't think it was a good move. I don't think putting Steve Bannon as top security of intelligence, I don't think that's a good move.
Why not?
Because he doesn't have any experience. I don't feel like he's a military person that's aware of military things. I think he's maybe read books on military. I just don't think he has the experience. The person that he's replacing is like one of the top people in the military. I just feel like it's really odd.
So what is Bannon actually going to be in charge of in this new position?
I don't know. Propaganda.
What's the position called? What's the title?
Administrator of Propaganda. Ministry of Propaganda. But
that's great.
Let's balance it out, guys. There's definitely some manipulation going on both sides. I definitely think that there's people that really fervently hate Trump, like, so much. But I also think that Trump's not telling us all. He's telling a lot of alternative facts. So you have to weed through all this junk and see things for what they are. It's really difficult.
Okay, I'll make the fold there against Captain Dan, who's being a little heavy pre-flop and post-flop. I mean, he just made it 20 big blinds pre-flop, and we had those pocket nines. Now he's firing out way more than he has to. It's a little too good to fold.
Well, yeah, but we kind of do need to debate, though.
I don't understand what he's saying.
We're not really debating each other, though.
Islam is the religion. Muslims are followers of the religion of Islam.
Being Muslim is a religion. I said it not mentioned in the
So I don't know. Saying Muslims is not a religion, dude, just seems like it's picking hairs.
Yeah, and then when people start picking hairs, then I mean, what it is, we're being xenophobic over a country that's way far, way less advantage, that has way less advantages than our country does. We have so much in America, so much.
Captain Wesker's right. He says one's political beliefs have become so entrenched with personal identity, it's like a person's legitimate existence in this world is called into question whenever an argument is presented. I completely agree with you on that one, Wesker. I think you're absolutely right.
It is true. People don't even want to listen or hear the other side.
And I think so many people out there would rather be right than be happy. There's so many people out there who voted against Trump who now don't want him to succeed.
That's right.
Who want him to fail. Why would you want him to fail? He's in charge of our country. And there's
a wanting to fail, but there's also but there's a legitimate concern. Oh, wow. Queen. Oh, really?
Eight's gonna do it. Drawn dead. Nice hand there, second.
That's why it's like,
I'm like, okay, we're 3 minutes away from the rebuy period. He probably has an underpair. Maybe he has a weaker ace. Maybe he has ace king.
Grr.
I don't love gambling, but there it is. Made a little gamble.
Hessback, I feel you, man. I'm not, I feel you. I feel like that too.
I honestly just...
Well, I feel that there are people that want Trump to fail, but I also feel like there's legitimate questioning on his actions too. There's genuinely people concerned. I'm genuinely concerned about why he would put Bannon on this spot. I'm genuinely concerned about this educational person. I'm genuinely concerned about this ExxonMobil securities person. I'm not really concerned about his Russian ties, honestly. I feel like, okay, whatever. But I feel like there's a shutting out of the media, or there's a process to do that by calling the media fake and just spitting out this propaganda saying they're fake, fake, fake. I don't think that's the right way to go. You can't believe that every single news site is like against. I mean, every single news site is making up stuff. I mean, I guess that they're puffering a lot. Yeah, Randy Bo Bandy. Yeah, I was talking
Randy
to Dutch.
Randy
Bo Bandy, Banana Fo Fanny. Yeah, I think that America, whether they like it or not, is a militarized country, and we rely on war to exist, and we're very much like that, and it's like a hidden thing.
Karate Stick, good to see you, man. This is a long time. So Bannon has a seat on the Security Council.
Yeah.
Chief strategist.
But then again, guys,
Given security role usually held for generals. I'm trying to figure out what the actual title is besides just a seat on the Security Council. And why so many people are worried about this.
well, he does have Trump's ear.
Why is this a bad thing to have a non-general in this role?
Because I don't think it's necessarily a bad general. It's also that he has Trump's ear, and I think that should be a concern. I mean, look at Bush and what's his name? Was it Cheney? Cheney? I mean, he blamed him for everything about the war.
So Captain Dan making the raise. I think that we've got some outs here, even if he has a 10. So I'm going to we're going to see a turn, make a decision here. I feel like worst case scenarios, we're looking at 5 outs. 10% of the time, we'll just stack them. If the turn comes with a spade, then we'll probably be continuing with the hand as well. The 4 doesn't help us, though. And I think if Captain Dan had a flush draw, he's just checking back. So we're done with it. All right, then.
Oh, is it done now? You should have shoved, Dutch, since it was the last bit.
I'm buying a 2004. Splitting hairs. Not picking hairs, splitting hairs. Splitting hairs, for fuck's sake.
Oh, did you say picking? That's funny.
Well, I was trying to focus on poker. As interesting as a political conversation is, I'm trying to make another final table.
He's trying to pick spots.
So I'm more interested in how we're going to be playing a King 3 of Spades and how Steve Bannon is going to do on the Security Council. I don't really understand why everyone's so up in arms about, we need generals in that spot. We need generals in that spot. Says who? Just because traditionally they've always put, people who are completely ingrained with the military-industrial complex in that spot. Why not put a guy who's, seems to be well informed about the state of the world,
or an alt-right guy?
What does that even mean?
That means what if we get a alt-right guy in there instead? I mean, that's what you're saying.
No, what does that mean?
Alt-right?
Yeah.
Well, if you don't know what it means, then you don't know very much about what our political
It's just
situation.
a label, and I'm not convinced that Steve Bannon is alt-right. I think that a lot of people describe him as right-wing.
Well, Milo, he's like they're all.
I would rather see Steve
together.
Bannon on the Security Council than Milo.
Yeah, but that's he's the editor of his newspaper.
Milo's an editor of Breitbart?
Yes.
I don't think that's true.
Yes,
Is that true? Milo Yiannopoulos, does he actually have something to do with Breitbart? Yeah, technology editor for Breitbart News. How about that?
Yeah,
That
and
guy's a joke.
yeah.
Go back to your country, Milo.
Yeah, go back to your country. Yeah. So if you have that connection, I mean,
But
alt-right.
okay.
But maybe he's not. Maybe he's a good guy. We'll see. We'll see what war we're going to get into. Where do you think we're going to get into war with first? What's your guess? Iran, right? To get the oil.
I kind of feel like before Trump would actually be going to war with Russia or China, I think that he'd be going with some Middle East countries.
Then China. I don't think Russia.
China would be such a disaster. That would be a really costly war.
Bannon's title is bottom bitch.
Where are we going to invade next? It's a good question because we have always been in a war.
Yeah.
The U.S. has always been in war. There's been like 14 years since the beginning of this country that we haven't actually been involved in a conflict. So to think that somehow, peace is right around the corner, doesn't matter if we put Trump in or Clinton in. Either one of them would, I actually feel like Trump is less likely to keep us in wars than Clinton. Clinton was more establishment. I hope so. He's definitely being more of like protectionist, isolationist.
No. I think I think he's just. We've just replaced one type of rule to another type of rule. He's just switching the people that are involved in it.
I think that there's a better chance that Trump keeps us actually scales back the war than Clinton would have, or pretty much any other Republican nominee. Probably not Bernie Sanders though. I think Bernie Sanders would have really cut war spending and got us out of some conflicts, and wouldn't have been trying to push us into more conflicts. I think it's pretty interesting that Trump is willing to say stuff like, "Well, let's go to war with Iraq or Iran to get the oil." He's actually like upfront about it. He doesn't have any
he feels
any
like
filters.
He feels like that's a war that wasn't successful,
like
and we should have
you're
been
saying
in
something
there
that you're not supposed to say. You're just supposed to have that as a motivation that comes out 50 or 60 years from now.
Yeah, he's supposed to bomb his own troops, saying that they did it, and then we go in there and then we say that we're getting the war. We're making them civil.
I think this tournament's going to start in another minute, and people are going to be going crazy.
Insane.
It's a $30 tournament.
But
$10 rebuys and add-ons.
It's going to be insane. But back
First
to
place,
but guys,
more than 1,100. That's not too bad for a Monday night. That's actually, usually it's $100 less. So we got a lot of people in this one. 156, 190 rebuys, 105 add-ons, which means a good chunk of people decided not to take the little add-on bonus. There's not as much of an add-on bonus in this $10 rebuy and add-on as there is in the 30.
So, anyways, but back to this political thing, and I want you guys to just be not kind to one another. That's the most important thing in all this. It's good to discuss though everybody's point of view and kind of get it and kind of understand and empathize where everybody's coming from, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who were in hard times, and struggling, and that's and afraid for their jobs and things.
So I'm not arguing with you guys who are saying that Bannon is a horrible pick. I suspect that you're right, but I just feel like I'm not really, and you're not really, in a good position to make the call. Trump is putting together his cabinet, and he's got a reason to put Bannon there. Whatever reason it is, he's got his own reason.
But at the same time, you should question what he does Dutch. You should question what everybody does.
But Trump
you
should
shouldn't
be
just
able to put
blindly
whoever
follow.
he wants into any cabinet position that he has.
That's not how democracy. But if we don't agree with it, we have a right to debate. We have a right to.
It's his cabinet.
I don't.
You know,
agree there.
it's his organization.
I don't.
He won the election. He's the president. Now he should be able to run that office the way that he wants to run it. You know, I'm not saying that, you know,
But that's like a
making
pacifist.
unconstitutional executive orders. I'm saying if he wants to have a chief,
But in order for-
strategist
but-
because he likes the guy's haircut, or because, you know, Steve Bannon tells, you know, funny jokes at cocktail parties, who cares why? He has his own reason, you know, and
but I
whatever
care.
reason that is,
But I care, Dutch.
we're not in a position to be able to question it because we don't know what the reasons are. I don't know why Trump is putting Steve Bannon on. You know, this. I don't know why he's putting Rick
But
Perry
shouldn't
in
you-
charge
but-
of his.
but shouldn't
of-
you- but
of
you shouldn't
the
you
energy
as-
department.
But shouldn't
But
you,
he has
as
his
an
own
Ameri-
reasons, so
but-
whatever.
But shouldn't you, as an American citizen, want to know why?
You just have to trust that, he's
But that's
doing
not,
it
that's
for,
the wrong
for
thing. That's
some
that's
reason,
what blind faith.
Not because Rick Perry.
What does
has,
blind faith
like,
gets you?
You know, a good idea of
it's not.
nuclear energy.
But you're putting him
But
on.
what's
You're
the
putting
point,
Trump
Michelle?
on pedestal
What's
like a
the
god.
point? What's the point of questioning what Trump is? You know, who Trump is appointing or why he's appointing it when we can't know the reasons and we don't know the reasons. We don't know why he's putting Rick Perry in charge of anything. I wouldn't put Rick Perry in charge of turning on my lights. You know, watering my plants when I'm gone. Hey, Rick, do you think that you could make sure to turn on my lights to discourage burglars from coming around? I don't know what his reason is, but he's got some reason. You know, backroom deals, whatever it was. You know, maybe, you know, Steve Bannon had, you know, and him had an agreement, and Steve was going to be giving him a lot of press in return for this position. You know, I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows.
Yeah, but
You know,
it's
this is
okay to
stuff that-
question. So it's okay to be skeptical about your.
But
the
I feel like what is
situation.
happening is the people who are questioning it are people who voted against Trump, and these are the people who want him to fail.
That
so
is
they're,
not
they're
right. No,
criticizing
you are
every
no,
decision
no,
he makes.
you are wrong. There's
wrong about what?
You're wrong about them being all about people who
I'm not
didn't
saying
vote for
all
them.
of them. I'm saying the majority of the
No.
outspoken vocalists seems to be
Well,
to be the people who were never with Trump to begin
I'm
with.
here to enlighten you.
and are not rooting for him to do well.
Well, I'm here to enlighten you because there's a whole
I understand
Twitter
that there's people
account
who are
regretting
Trump. I understand there is a
their
small
vote.
minority of people who, you know, are not for it, and then there's a lot more people who are naming their babies after Trump. One of my best friends in poker, Ryan Tapin, just had a baby this weekend. He decided to very inconveniently have the
Dutch.
baby on Michelle's
Dutch.
birthday.
It's okay to be skeptical. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, but what's like what use is it?
What use is it not? I mean, the reason why our
Is it just like
civilization,
talking about,
the
like-
reason why our civilization has evolved is from people being skeptical about things. Do you really want to still believe in like the boogie about silly superstitions? I mean,
No,
you
I don't.
you should be skeptical about
I don't.
everything.
I'm not a superstitious person. I don't know what that has to do with.
It has to do
Steve
with
Bannon
everything.
or
You
the
know,
price of tea in China.
it has everything to do with it because Donald Trump is actually a believer of positive thinking and like these weird brainwashing systems.
So are the vast majority of the country.
Yeah, and that's fine. But you have to understand where he's coming from. You should question, is what I'm saying, and you're saying. From what I'm hearing from you, you're just saying, oh, nothing I can do about it. Just go about my business.
I think
Which is ridiculous.
that's not what I'm saying.
That's what it
Michelle.
sounds like, what you're saying.
Is that what it sounds like to you guys?
Sounds
That
like you're
I'm
saying,
just like turning a blind eye.
you
'cause,
are.
nope,
You're like,
nothing
I can't
can do
you're
about
like,
it.
nothing I can do. And I'm like, wow, it's really
Nothing
horrible.
I can do. Rick Perry as the energy department.
Yeah, but there is something
Rex
that we
Tillerman
can do.
as Secretary of State.
By
Nothing I can
questioning
do.
by questioning the inexperience or experiences of our politicians, then we can, as a people, vote in better people or be better, become
ExxonMobil's going to
better
be in charge
educated,
of our foreign policy.
which is going to rape and pillage.
ExxonMobil's going to decide where we invade next. Nothing I can do.
Yeah,
I done did it. You know,
I guess.
I already did it.
Stop. No, there's obviously you can stop because there's going to be a lot of bigotry coming. There's going to be a lot of hating coming, and you, as a citizen of the United States, you should be able to help people combat that bigotry. and things like that. If you see something like something happening in a store about somebody being racist, are you just going to stand there and just be like,
You know what? That's something I'd like to
Trump
talk about,
is
actually.
Trump is president? Psh, you know where you know. I mean, people are experiencing that.
I want to talk about this on stream, actually. You asked what I would do if I was in a store and I observed somebody being racist, and I've actually in the last couple of weeks I've been thinking about this because I was in Marshall's a few weeks ago, and yeah, that worked because no one has an ace, and how can we be bluffing with King 4? It worked. I was in Marshall's, and there was this dad pushing two kids in his grocery cart. And there was a little girl sitting in the grocery cart, and his son, who must have been 4, 3.5, maybe 4, maybe 5, no older than 5. Real tiny kid. And he was kind of leaning around, standing in the cart, kind of leaning around, like grabbing for stuff. And the man was pretty big. He had me by about 60 pounds. He looked like he was about 280. He kind of looked like a he kind of looked like a South American Mario from Mario Brothers. He looked like Super Mario if Super Mario was Colombian. And the kid was like reaching over to get something.
You have horrible ways of describing people, but keep on going.
And Mario like yelled something in Spanish and just popped the kid right in the mouth. Closed fist, just it made a sound like that, this sick sound. Like, and the kid, just tears welling up in his eye, sulks down. He looks like he looks like he's just thinking, I'm not gonna cry. And I was just appalled.
Did you see that Persuade by Asking donated a bunch?
Appalled.
Did you see that he donated 1,000 bits?
I didn't see that. When did that happen?
It's happened when we were talking about your
Let
my
me finish
arch
the story.
nemesis.
Persuade by Asking, thank you very much. I really appreciate the cheer. And so what did I do? I did absolutely nothing. I just sat there in horrified silence doing absolutely nothing. I didn't say anything. I didn't do anything. And I was horrified. And I've been thinking about that over and over and over because the only reason I can point to that I wouldn't say, hey, Mario, don't hit your kid like that. It's not right to punch your kid in the mouth. That's not appropriate. Now, the only reason I can point to why I didn't say that is just pure cowardice. Just pure cowardice. The same type of cowardice that, growing up, in Missouri, in towns where there would not be a single black family, and hearing somebody tell some joke, a racist joke, and instead of saying something like, man, that is not cool. It's not cool. You shouldn't be telling jokes like that. You just kind of be like, oh, yeah. When those kind of things happen and you don't speak up for what you believe in, because it would be socially awkward, socially uncomfortable, and it's something that really bothers me. So, Michelle, when you say what would I do if I was in a store and I saw something racist going on, I would like to say I would stand up and say, hey, what you're doing is inappropriate. But the truth is, I know myself well enough that it's a character flaw, like it's a big flaw, that I would just keep my mouth shut and say absolutely nothing and think about it and dwell on it for weeks and weeks and weeks about why didn't I say anything? I should have said something about that Mario guy hitting his
See
kid.
that it's still bothering you.
It
See,
does.
if I saw it, I would have
bother
said
me.
something.
We were at the park a
I'm very
few
assertive.
months ago, and a guy just really punched his dog, just real hard. And I wanted to say, dude, it's not cool to punch your dog, man. What are you doing? Don't punch your dog, dude. That's not cool. And instead, I just said,
Nothing.
nothing.
Well, I think that a lot of people there's a lot of people that see abuses and they're silent about it. That's why people don't. That's why people are afraid of reporting things that are bad.
It's cowardice. It's cowardice. You know, that's it's a flaw. God hates a coward. It's a great quote. And I don't know, besides just, thinking about it and saying, well, the next time I'm in that situation, I'm going to, try to say something. I hope I do. I hope future Dutch says, hey, Mario, that's not cool. And I'm going to call Child Protective Services right now. So, yeah. What would I do? I'd just keep my mouth shut. What do you do when you watch it? What would I do when I'm watching Trump issue executive orders that are probably unconstitutional and are discriminating against whole religions? I mean, I'm not religious. It's not my religion. I'm atheist. So do I really care? Do I think that liberals are downplaying the existential threat that Islamic terrorists are posing to our society? Because I do. But do I think that really the people who are trying to flee from, a Syrian civil war are really trying to come in here and bomb a nightclub? I just think that they're trying to get out of danger's way. So, yeah. I'll just sit here and think about how to play poker. Persuade by asking.
So that's his guilt coming out.
Thank you so much for that top cheer. 1,000 bits. I haven't seen anybody cheer that much.
Aw.
I think one of the great comforts of all religion is the idea of a power greater than yourself. That's something that in any 12-step program, that's going to be the first step, is to acknowledge a power greater than yourself. And when you think about how broad that is, that statement, a power greater than yourself, do you believe that there's something out there, someone out there, anything out there that has more power than you do? And if you believe that, then you can think, well, I can just submit to some sort of greater power. And just hope that everything's going to be okay, that someone is in control of this crazy train, and they're going to be making sure that we don't go right off of a cliff. Someone's in some greater power out there, whether it be God, whether it be Illuminati, whether it be Donald Trump.
Apparently, the greater power is
Bannon.
America.
Whether it be the collective, the collective decision making of the wisdom of the crowd, some greater power than ourselves is in charge of things, and that is the one of the great comforts of religion, is the idea of a greater power than yourself actually being in control and making sure that everything's going to be okay.
Well, and I think the thing about religion.
Okay, let me finish my point, and then you can respond, and I'll just keep quiet for 10 minutes. There was something that Steve Jobs said, which kind of flies in the face of this. He says, once you sit back and look around the world and realize that everything that we have, every system in place, every government in place, every economic principle, every scientific discovery, every product we enjoy, every type of food, everything was invented by people who are no smarter than you are. Once you accept that, then that enables you to go out and change the world and mold it to how you want it to be. Realize that there is no greater power than you, that you are the one who is just as capable of anybody else of coming up with the master plan, which is going to make sure that we get off of this little rock and don't die to a comet or nuclear destruction. You are the one who is the only one capable of writing the great book that's going to change the hearts and minds of everybody
Or
to
destroy
believe
the world.
the way that the right way is.
Or destroy the world too. I mean,
Yeah.
it goes both ways,
The more, I still want to believe that there's a greater power, but I fear that there's not.
Well, the thing is that people can form a greater power because people have to make sense of the chaos that is our life. And they have to find patterns, and they have to find our brains have to find a reason why things happen. So we create these things to make it easy to digest the chaos. Because everything's pretty chaotic. Hitting kids are fine, Dutch. It's hitting dogs that are bad. It says Lion. 19898.
Jay Ruffer says Colombian Mario. How is that not racist?
I know it is racist. I was gonna.
How
say
is that
something.
racist?
How is it not?
He looked like Mario.
No, dude, it is. Like when you said it, I was.
But
cringing
he was
over
from
here.
from a South American country.
That's why I just said that you were.
Not
Just
a
stop.
Mexican.
Stop.
Not Mexican.
Did you hear? Fun fact: Mario's named
He was-
after the Japanese
he was
tenant of
Colombian.
Nintendo. FreeToChoose.tv. This sounds like a scary website. Free to choose.
Free to
Hey,
choose.
and I recently read about how people. It's really interesting. It's about biases and how people who are into conspiracy theories. I'm not saying that Free to Choose is a conspiracy website, but how people that are into conspiracy theories only find things that are about conspiracy theories, so they keep on building onto that bias.
What's that bias called?
I forget.
Confirmation bias?
Confirmation bias,
maybe?
yes.
Confirmation bias.
Went through a whole book about it. Confirmation. So there's, and that's the same thing with Facebook too, guys. I mean, if you only have friends that are leaning to the left or leaning to the right, you guys are always going to confirm your biases with each other over and over and over again. That's why I wanted someone to link the actual presidential ban thing on.
Someone did, right?
I don't know. I didn't
did
get
you
it.
Read it.
No, I didn't get it.
Yeah, someone linked it.
Oh, they did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't get it.
I think it was Wombat who linked it. Might have been the Hammer Time. But no, someone definitely linked it.
Oh, I didn't get it. I have to look for it. I'm looking for it right now. But the point is that we should be skeptical. We should question everything. And if we're not familiar with it, we need to become familiar with it in order to understand what's going on and understand the angles and understand the biases and understand what the media, what the presidency, what people are trying to do. I mean, both sides. I mean, so, some of my friends, I feel like they're a little bit too, left, I guess you would say. And then I have people that are just a little too right, like a lot, I mean, goes both ways. There's a middle. There has to be a middle. But that's my brain trying to make everything make sense, right? I can't find the thing again. Can't find the presidential edict. Is it an edict? It sounds so. Is that the right word?
Sounds
an edict?
right.
Isn't that something that you do in like games about kings?
So, Pointy Joint says, Dutch, can you please explain how what Trump did is unconstitutional? Pointy Joint, I said about an hour ago, I'm not an expert on constitutional law. I am sure that experts out there can explain it better than I can.
I heard
I think there's at least 4 different parts of the Constitution that it could possibly be going up against. The First Amendment, which is the freedom of religion, the Equal Protection Clause, you got the Due Process Clause.
Well, there's also a whole thing on the Geneva Convention saying that each country has to help refugees.
Here's MediaMatters.org. Here's a link from someone from the ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union. Super leftist, super liberal, explaining why Trump's Muslim ban is unconstitutional and illegal. So if you want the actual argument for why it is, for which parts of the Constitution it's going up against, I think he would be able to say it better than I could. Due process, equal protection, some of the federal statutes, international treaties, and the First Amendment.
Come here. Come here. Come here.
Let's go ahead and just see it.
Oh no, Lion's praying for you. Please don't pray with those hot dog sticks.
I love.
These are the
I
hot
love
dog
that's what you got out of that, Lion. It's great. Well, at least you want to believe in a God. I didn't say I want to believe in a God, Lion. I said I wanted to believe in a greater power. And there is a big difference.
What I found interested about what people are saying about like the Trump supporters, I found interesting, is that they are considering people that support Trump as worshipers now, which is weird. Okay, I'll check it.
What do you want to bet we're ahead here? Let's check. Planning on making the call if he fires at a bet. Yeah. How do you not bluff that easy peasy? How do you not look at 9 high and think, I can move jack high off? He couldn't have. I would have been making the jack high call, and a couple of you guys would have been like, wow, how do you make that call, Dutch?
You asked the
it
higher
would have been
power.
the weakest hand I think we would have been making the call with on stream so far. I've made some queen high calls and some king high calls, ace high calls every day. I don't think that we've made any jack high calls on the river.
Or 7 high calls. Oh, this looks like a good site. Market Anarchy. Thanks. I'll check it out.
So suited dogs firing out half pot. We're going to go ahead and see a turn card. And there's our gen card.
Oh.
So we're going to try to size this so that we can get all of it on the rest of it in on the river here. So 3/4. And now we can just bet all in. ZSU Unreal. Middle ground would be building a southern wall covered in solar panels. That's funny.
That's right.
We're
That's
gonna
a good
build a
middle
wall.
ground. If we built a wall that was like amazing.
This is what I don't understand, too. Trump talking about how Mexico is going to pay for it. And then I guess what they're coming up with is that they're going to tax Mexican imports, things like avocados and tomatoes, and that's the way that Mexico is going to pay for it because they're going to tax the imports. But doesn't that just mean that
We're gonna be paying
Americans end up paying for it?
Yeah.
Because
for our
we have
goods.
to indirectly pay for it through
Mangoes
the
are
price
going to
of
cost a lot.
avocados? I mean, I don't understand. Like, ultimately,
Avocados are freaking expensive already.
It's going to be the consumer who pays for it.
Shit.
You know, one way or the other. I
got a headache thinking about all the avocados I can't eat.
Yeah, you think avocados are expensive?
They're like $1 each. Unless I go to the Mexican supermarket. They're $5 for $1. Man. You know, that Adam Ruins Everything. I watched a border walls don't work, and he says that I think 25 to 40% of illegals come through plane.
What?
It's like 20 to 40% of illegals come through planes. They don't even go through the border.
Well, is that just because they outstay their welcome?
Yeah, they outstay their welcome.
They stay after the 6
The
month,
visa, yeah.
Sure, I can understand.
So the
that.
wall doesn't really help. I mean, they're coming in anyways legally.
I don't understand.
They're legally
Bonnie Fish.
coming out, and then they're staying. My good friend, who's a dancer here in Vegas, she's a citizen of the Philippines for a long time. She used to have a visa, and she's been here for a long ass time.
I feel like I should just take a couple orbits off and actually read the text of this executive order.
You're what? You're gonna read it?
People are like, it's not a Muslim ban. It's not a Muslim ban. It's a ban. It's a ban of
What
seven
is it a ban
nations, seven Muslim nations, because we're worried about Islamic terrorism. But it's not a Muslim ban.
This isn't it.
I should just read the full text of it.
I just think that he's just blindly signing stuff.
It never actually says anything about Muslims
Does it?
or Islam.
Just
I thought that it
Iran.
did say something about Christianity, though.
Is this it? Full text of the order. Well, thank you, CNN. But CNN is fake news, so...
CNN is
measures
fake news.
to keep radical Islam.
So Casey Neistat, who's a big YouTuber and video blogger, he went to D.C. to watch the Trump inauguration, and he if any of you guys watch a bunch of YouTubers, you probably have seen his videos. He's very good.
Oh, yeah. I remember who he is
But
now.
he needed a media pass, so he reached out to CNN and got a CNN media pass. So as he was walking around with his CNN media pass, people just kept on being, "You're fake news, man. You're fake news."
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's the exact idea that people who want
I didn't
to...
even know Casey Neistat was news.
Wow.
He's just a really good video editor and a video blogger. Okay. Yeah, we'll make the fold here. Vice Chick, thank you very much for those cheers. Really appreciate that.
Dormouse. Hello, Dormouse.
Pointy Joint says temporarily suspended travel isn't suppressing their freedom of religion. It kind of is, though. If you say all people from a specific religion can't travel, then you are discriminating based on religion, and you are suppressing the First Amendment.
Yeah, just imagine if we couldn't stream because we were atheists.
Yeah.
Would be very sad.
Well, can you discriminate based on lack of a religion?
Well, you can discriminate over anything. My hair color.
Make the fold there.
You can discriminate if you can label it. I suppose you can discriminate against it.
Wombat3710 says, if it is a Muslim ban, why do they not ban the other 40 majority Muslim countries? Countries like Indonesia, countries like Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Egypt. I don't know, man. I don't know, Wombat.
Well, that's my point too. When I was talking to somebody about the ban, he was like, "Good," and I was like, "Well, if they're banning all the Muslims, why don't they ban people from the Philippines?" My point is, why even have it at all? They already have a screening process that's like 30 days long. They have a screening process. They don't just let people who they think are high security just in. They have a process. Look at we've had TSA harassing us for the last 20 years or long. It's 20 years already. 10 years, 15 years.
Yeah, 15 years.
And it hasn't done us any good.
Well, that we haven't seen. Maybe there would be more terrorist
attempts,
hijackings. If,
I don't know.
It weren't for all the TSA lines and
throwing away all the shampoo and makeup.
Yeah, maybe if
dangerous
it weren't
makeup
for all
and
that,
shampoo.
saline solution in the trash.
Your nail clippers in the trash.
When I think about all the man hours lost in a TSA line compared to all the man hours lost in the 9/11 attacks, it seems to me like at some point we're killing more people, to protect against an imaginary terrorist threat. I know it's not imaginary, you guys, but let's get real. 7,000 Americans die every day, except that day where 9,400 died. You've got 25 times that dying, every year to car accidents. Okay, 20 times that, right? 15 times that. You got 30,000 people every year dying in car accidents, where we have driverless cars, where we can avoid that. You know, if we spend as much money on the war against car deaths as we did the war against terrorism, we would have a better EV for our money. If we spent more money on the war against tobacco as we have against the war against terrorism, we would have much better EV. We got something like 150,000 American deaths every year to tobacco-related illnesses, COPD and lung cancer.
Yeah, and if companies gave more to their employees, we'd have better better output in
and I'm not
things.
saying that terrorism isn't a real threat. I'm just saying that it's not as big of a threat as
Children
what's actually going to kill you and me.
Children starving.
You know, you've got, why not have a war against diabetes and heart failure,
Cancer.
the EV is better. The EV is better. So it just seems to me like a scare tactic to keep people in line and keep the war machine running.
Well, the war machine's been running for quite some time, before most of you were born.
Oh, so Clan Cannabis says Neistat actually works for CNN now.
Who?
Because he had a company that was bought by CNN. I didn't know that.
Oh, is that
Didn't know.
That's the photographer.
That's pretty cool.
He's very good.
Jay Ruffer. No, we can't talk about what you want to talk about. Pointy Joint says, when you get your news from YouTube and Reddit, it's a little skewed. You need to get your news from
Sean Hannity,
Breitbart and Fox News, I guess.
and Sean
Fair
Hannity,
and
what's the other one I listen to?
Pointy Joint, there's not going to be a place that you can get your news that's not going to be skewed. That's the nature of news. There's not a way to get news that's not going to be skewed. I do feel like getting it from Reddit and YouTube is at least a little bit more of a meta news analysis instead of just trusting.
Well, definitely,
a single source.
For something like Reddit, you have comments and people actually coming together and having a discussion about it.
It's kind of like
so
the Rotten Tomatoes of news,
Actually, it's better. I feel like it's because if instead of just getting it fed to you, people can be like, wait a minute. This is fake, or this is not, or this is, whatever, I don't get my news from the Donald, because all they do is just circle jerk on each other about how awesome and great they are. But I used to subscribe to that one.
Anyway, Point and Joint. If you're trying to argue that the
what is
immigration ban
guess,
is not a Muslim ban, then you've kind of lost me here, because I don't see how it can be interpreted any other way. I'm reading the full text, and you're right. It doesn't spell out specifically. Muslims can't come in. Numerous foreign-born, this is directly from the text. Numerous foreign-born individuals have been convicted or implicated in terrorism-related crimes. Shut up,
measures.
Trump. Reading your word. Since September 11, 2001, including foreign nationals who entered the United States after receiving visitor, student, or employment visas, or who entered through the United States Refugee Resettlement Program. Deteriorating conditions in certain countries due to war, strife, disaster, and civil unrest increase the likelihood that terrorists will use any means possible to enter the United States. Look, so this is you want to call it, instead of a Muslim ban, you want to call it a terrorist ban. Terrorists are Muslims. You're not seeing a bunch of Lutheran terrorists coming in, Jewish terrorists coming in and blowing up nightclubs. It's not happening. And if you want to say, oh well, he didn't mention specifically terrorists or Muslims. He just said terrorists. Islamic fundamentalists, radical Islamic fundamentalists. That's what he's trying to keep out of our country. And I don't understand how you can interpret that any other way than what it is, which is a ban on Muslims. So,
well, there's definitely a fear.
Why didn't he say it? Why didn't he say it? Well, because it would be easier to strike down as unconstitutional.
Yeah.
If he says, no, it's not a ban on Muslims, it's a ban on terrorists. Okay, make the fold there. So, in order to protect Americans, the United States must ensure that those admitted to this country do not bear hostile attitudes toward it and its founding principles. That reminds me of a woman who was turned away. She was trying to immigrate to the Netherlands. She wanted to be Dutch. And so she was trying to immigrate, and they wouldn't let her in because she's a vegan. And they said that you were the one who told me this, right? That milk is so and dairy is so ingrained in the culture of the Netherlands that for her to be vegan,
I think, let me find the exact story. So
means she's hostile towards the attitudes of the Netherlands and its founding principles.
That was citizenship. She's in there.
So she was trying to immigrate.
She was living there, I think. She wasn't a citizen. Denied Swiss. It was Swiss. Vegan denied Swiss citizenship for her views on animal rights. For being too annoying.
Why is it so why is it so hard for people who support this executive order to call it what it is? Call it what it is. Call it a Muslim ban. Why is that so wrong to call it what it actually is? You read it and it sounds like, yeah, I can get behind this. The United States should not admit those who engage in acts of bigotry or hatred, including honor killings, other forms of violence against women, or the persecution of those who practice religions different from their own. I can get behind that.
What was
right?
Why
can't we get behind that?
Behind what? The vegan?
Or those who would oppress Americans of any race, gender, or sexual orientation. He's making it sound like the executive order is standing up for gay rights.
Does it say that? Oh, that's pretty good. Good for him.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I kind of feel like the Nobel Prize lost all credibility when Obama got a peace prize. Well, he was engaged in 2 different wars. We're going to give Kissinger the Nobel Peace Prize for the peace building work he did in Vietnam and Korea.
She lived there since she was 8 years old. She's 42, trying to get citizenship. But the citizens are like, she's too annoying.
8 to 42.
And she tried to get citizenship.
She's too annoying to be a citizen of the Netherlands.
Miss Holston, a vegan and animal rights activist, has campaigned against the use of cowbells in the village, and her action has annoyed the locals. The residents' committee argued that if she does not accept Swiss tradition and the Swiss way of life, she should not be able to become an official national. The Tanja Suter, the president of the local Swiss People's Party, claimed that Miss Holton has a big mouth and that the residents did not want to grant her citizenship. If she annoys us and doesn't respect our traditions, Miss Holton, who describes herself as a freelance journalist, model, and drama teacher, has also campaigned against the other numbers of Swiss traditions like hunting, pig racing, and the noisy church bells in town.
Oh my gosh.
So
she was there since she was 8 years old, and she's 42, and they're going to be like,
no, she's too annoying.
She's not one of us.
She does not like our ways. She just protests way too much.
Of us.
She protests too much.
She's been there for 34 years since she was 8 years old. We're doing the same thing, right? We're gonna be if it's right around the corner, I think, as far as the deportations go, deporting people who were in the country since they were like 4 or 5, 2 years old, coming into the country illegally, not speaking a word of Spanish, back to your country.
She was fighting.
Wow,
fighting.
what a run out! A set of twos. To Fat Zach getting that ace on the river. Was that all in before? Did he actually? No, looks like Corey Gate did a little. No, he got him in on the turn. Oh man, that's pretty brutal there. Corey Gate played it pretty good, so he makes the call on the flop, slow playing his set, and gets to Fat Zach to go ahead and put the rest of it in right there on the turn.
Can you see my S and my Superman?
2 outs. Ugh.
Can you see my Superman? There you
Let
go.
me see. Yeah, I can. It's like
Bony
you're
fish
flying
wanted
in
to see.
space.
I would like to think that I'm Superman, but I can't claim that. Otherwise, they'll come and sue me. There was a real estate agent that had a Superman-like-esque. That was his thing in Canada, and he got a cease and desist. He was going around saying that he was like super real estate agent, here to sell your house, and he got like a yeah. But he was using this symbol, the triangle diamond.
Yeah, so Big Hoggin 54 says, I know this might sound dumb, but what if there's this threat that us, the people, have no clue about, that is coming from these countries and they haven't told us,
Like
'cause it would cause
communism,
panic.
socialism,
Big Hoggin,
the Antichrist.
I think that your question is valid, but it also displays the wrong way of looking at the role of government in our lives. The senators and the Congress and the president, they're not there to protect us from the world. They're there to work for us and represent us.
That's right.
So it's not really, sure, there's going to be some situations where they can't make
Yeah, they're
something
not
public
like-
because of national security, I guess. But I think that those should really be few and far between. And it's pretty hard for me to come up with things that really should be held back from the American public for any extended amount of time. I think most of the time, those kind of confidentiality and security clearance, labels are misused just to protect people in government from public backlash.
That's right. The Kennedy files are coming out in October this
What's
year.
it gonna say?
Redacted.
It's all gonna be redacted.
Redacted. Yeah. I agree
Did
with you there,
Oswald
Dutch.
act alone?
Redacted.
Did Jack Ruby act alone when he killed Oswald?
Redacted.
Meh.
I know. I want to be a
12
Swiss
outs?
too. They have mice catching too.
12 outs once. We're getting the right odds to make the call. Now it's nothing.
I hope the 12 outs was a 6. No, we got auto ban, dude.
Oh, you know what? I think he was talking about that chick.
Who? Yeah,
Like
did
someone-
you ban him? No, he's talking about the girl with the vegan.
Yeah.
Don't. No, I'm not annoying. Only a little bit. I'm a bit. Did you undo it?
Yeah.
Okay. Apologize to golf, poker girls, and UFC in 420.
Making the fold there.
I mean, our government's probably pretty crooked if Cory Booker's crooked, Dutch.
Oh, that was so depressing.
I didn't like
That
Cory Booker.
I loved Cory Booker.
I never
Michelle
liked
was
him.
Always liked
I never
him.
liked him. I was like, why do you like
It's
that dude?
true. You never liked Cory
I
Booker.
never liked him.
Cory Booker was the hero. He was my hero.
Dutch's hero.
Ran into a burning building.
Roll my
survived
eyes.
on food stamps.
Dear, oh dear.
For years.
I mean, I thought that was kind of cool. He didn't. He only did it for like a week,
Years.
just to say, "Hey guys, I'm rolling. I have a lot of money,
So it was a
but
publicity
you guys
stunt.
can live on
That's
food
true.
stamps. Let me do it. I'll show you how. I'm
True.
Cory Booker.
Publicity stunt.
That's right. To make him look like the next. I don't know what he wants. He probably wants to be president. I mean, that's what it is, man. You have to be a certain kind of person to be the president.
I think that you're
All
right.
of them.
I think that probably is Cory Booker's.
Dream, right?
Dream
Isn't that every
and-
American child's dream? To
That's
become
the
president?
goalpost.
Not mine, because my daddy said I was a girl, so I couldn't be president. He said I could marry the president, but I could not be the president. Dutch, you have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Right? Three hammer time. Probably is a big conspiracy. Oliver Stone and Trump are probably best friends, and they're like, dude, we can make a really good movie. Huh, June?
I'm going to express doubt about that. I don't think I think Trump would say that Oliver Stone is overrated.
Wasn't
His
this
movies are overrated.
Isn't the SAGs? Wasn't it yesterday the SAGs?
Yeah.
And then tomorrow was the Oscars.
No, Oscars are in about
Emmys. Some award
like
thing.
3 weeks, I think. I've been catching up on some Oscar movies. The Arrival is up for Best Picture. I would like to see The Arrival win. It's not going to. Sci-fi movie.
La La Land's gonna win, right?
Has a sci-fi movie ever won Best Picture? No. The answer is no. There's been some close calls.
Like what? Which one?
Inception was up for
That
it.
was a good movie.
The Martian,
That was like a roller coaster ride.
Gravity.
Not so much Martian. Gravity.
Um,
Inception should have won in that category. I
and,
think.
that one District 8 or whatever.
Oh, District 8 was a good movie.
I
It
think
was
that
different.
was up for it.
Is that right?
And
That's
now
a good
Arrival.
one.
Mad Max was up for it.
Didn't it win?
No.
Didn't Mad Max win something?
No, I don't think so. I think it got nominated for Best Picture though, which was a
You sure it
surprise
didn't
to
win Best
everybody.
Picture? Because I think maybe it was the surprise of that. Hi, Jeer. Do you want to come up here? Come here.
Except for Scott Seaver. Scott Seaver said that
That was
Mad
the
Max
best
was
movie.
the best movie he saw all year, which I'm trying to understand why. I guess maybe if it's like if it's an analogy, if there's like some symbolism there. You know, you got Mad Max escaping a bad world for a better one, but there is no better world. No spoilers. I'm
Yeah,
not going to talk too much about it, just in
Don't be
case.
witness.
D's Nuts Poker says, Dutch, did you see the last
Yeah,
night of the
witness.
Austin Millions? I didn't see any of the Austin Millions. The only thing I know is that some rando who had
Must be
never
one of the
played a big
greatest poker
tournament
player in
before.
his life.
You know, he was talking about how he was going to
Naturally
go
good.
back and keep on playing the bar leagues, and I'm like, oh, bless his heart.
Good for him, man.
Bless his heart. So let's go ahead and c-bet against Dylan's dad here. A little half pot. We get through.
Hi, the network.
Yeah, market anarchy. I don't. You know, I don't really see communism or socialism as a threat. I think the jury's still out, buddy.
He says that it's dangerous from the starvation it causes, which I'm gonna
Liberal
have to look
democracy
into
with a market economy. I mean,
that.
that seems to be what a lot of the libertarians and more the right wingers are trying to get the whole world to adopt, right? Liberal democracy with a free market economy, and that this is supposed to be the best form of government and nation system. I'm not.
I think it has to be a mix.
I'm not convinced. I think that the jury is still out, and we'll hopefully be continuing this conversation in another 200 years or 300 years, and see what other systems of government and market economies have evolved. I would love to see when you look at the world as envisioned by Gene Roddenberry. What would you call that future Star Trek world? Federation of planets or whatever. What is Earth in Star Trek? I'm pretty sure it's not a liberal democracy with a free market economy. Maybe we get to the point where we don't have scarcity anymore when it comes to basic needs or really anything. We could reach that point, and
But we don't have needs.
where we don't have scarcity. We could reach that point, and if that happens, I think that
Well, it'd be.
we'll see. We'll see. I'm not willing to just concede the point that communism is a real threat, and the problem is that a combination of McCarthyism as well as college indoctrination prevented any real discussion of the topic, so we haven't had the public awareness that communism and socialism are killers.
I don't agree with that.
I don't even know what you're talking about. No one's died from communism and socialism.
Well, he's talking
They've
about
died from
he's talking about the overextended, like how
communism doesn't kill people.
He's talking about like places
kill
like
people.
in China where they had the people like manufacture their own steel, so they would like use their own plows to like make the steel, but then they wouldn't have the plows to like plow their fields to make farms, so they starved. That's the Chinese. That's a Chinese example. Same thing with Russia. Like Russia, they put everything into like the war effort.
There seems to be plenty of kibbutzes in Israel that seem to be operating pretty well. And
What are they
proving that
called?
socialism
Kibbutzes?
Can work pretty well.
What did you just say? Kibbutzes?
I think that's what they're called. The socialist communes.
I never heard of that word.
In Israel.
Kibbutz. Can you say it again?
Well, I might be saying it wrong.
Oh.
That's why I said it really
No,
fast.
it sounded.
I kind of mumbled it.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't really know too much about it, but I'm pretty sure that there are small communities that kind of go a socialist bent that aren't killing their citizens and are thriving. Could be wrong. I'm sure market anarchy will be able to tell me that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But I also think market anarchy that there's a pretty good.
Yeah, it's about the leaders of the communist people that were running those countries that did it incorrectly, like telling the people what they needed to do and things like that.
Anytime you're looking at all this evidence, market anarchy, just remember that you are also going into it with your own biases. And I know that you think that anybody who thinks that socialism might not be such a bad idea, anybody who kind of buys into some of the stuff that Eugene Debs said back 100 years ago. Who buys into stuff that Kurt Vonnegut wrote about in all of his in all of his books, that we're all just clueless, naive libtards who aren't
snowflakes. That's what they call us now, Dutch.
That a liberal
they call them
democracy
snowflakes
with
now.
A free market economy is the best way to run nations. But I would suggest that
we haven't
we're not.
We haven't tried it yet, though.
Maybe
our country hasn't tried it.
Maybe Eugene Debs was onto something. And maybe socialism
Like a
Bernie
hybrid.
Sanders socialism isn't quite a Stalin.
Capitalism is not working that great too. It's working for
communism.
like what 1%.
I think capitalism is very much flawed.
Yeah.
For a lot of different reasons.
Well, I mean, though we have a lot of things in America, and you got to look at what the cost of everything that you buy. I mean, we're
going to be right back.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we are back. Well, I'm back. Michelle's not back. I'm back. Ulterior Mustache, thank you very much for lurking and hanging out with us. Appreciate it. Wow, D's nuts.
I had hot cocoa.
So a guy turned out to make a the guy who won the Aussie Millions, I guess, made just an insane call on the river where a guy had 2-barrel and 3-bet with an underpair to 4 cards or something. He makes the call with an underpair to 4 cards. Heads up, I guess. Any pair is strong. Who knows? He's, I read his interview and he's like, yeah, you just got to learn to trust your reads. That's what I figured out, is you just need to trust your reads. I'm thinking about how many people trusted their reads, right before they hit the door. Just I think that this is a case of survivorship bias. So JD Cole, good to see you. By the way, he's talking about this Insta Poker coaching app. I haven't heard of it. Is this new? It looks like it was released on Android. The #1 no limit Hold'em poker strategy coaching and training app, free to download. It includes tips from Antonio. I think Dan O'Brien was working on this for a while. I think I remember seeing Dan O'Brien working on an app, and coming up with like a pack that was going to be Antonio's pack. Sounds like maybe it's the same one. I haven't really checked it out too much. What I would say though, JD, is you can never spend too much on your education.
I like selfism. I believe in myself. If you believe in it, You can do anything.
Wee Man, good to see you. He's on the final table somewhere.
Woohoo.
Good luck to you. I hope you win. Make the fold there with Jack 8 off. And yeah, I'll take a look at D's nuts, but I'm not going to criticize it. It sounds like he made the right call. If even though it sounds like maybe it was for the wrong reasons, he trusted his read for whatever reason that worked out for him on that day. Look at this. We got Texas to Nevada chilling out with us. 25,000.
Nice.
He's fresh from 2 tournament wins last week. Just crushing. Monarch Black says, benevolent dictatorship is the best form of government.
Beloved.
I don't think he's not making a joke.
He's probably right.
I think he has a point, actually. I mean,
but that's never going to happen because everybody's so power hungry, dude.
I think
there's no such thing.
Yeah, one of the problems is anybody who would want to be the dictator
there's plenty of examples
going to have some problems with benevolence.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of examples of people taking down governments with the idea of fixing it, only to becoming like a dictator. Isn't what's his name from Cuba an example?
Fidel Castro.
Didn't he have an idea of this wonderful place for everybody? Everybody got land and I don't know.
Sure.
I mean, I didn't live in Cuba. I don't really know much about Cuban history.
What do you think? A 3-bet or a call? I'm gonna just call here. I definitely feel like he started with
good ideals,
with higher ideals than he ended with.
I think most people do. I think Obama started with high ideals and ended like.
I like to think so.
Like not doing.
I like to think that a younger Obama would scoff at the idea of NSA surveillance and drone strikes on American citizens.
But it's addictive. It's like
I like to think that
it's like the whole Nixon thing.
That young Obama would be a little disappointed in old Obama.
Well, it's about like having the information. Being able to have that. It's like, wow, I have this power over people. It's addictive.
It's also a responsibility, It's not just.
Well, I'm sure he didn't tell anybody.
I'm sure he's also, he kept up at night, wanting to make sure that America doesn't get wiped off the face of the earth on his watch.
But I doubt he kept up at night. He probably saw the nukes. But he was very good, or a very good speaker, though. I'm gonna miss that about Obama.
Yeah, he is a good speaker. Wombat asking about standard tip amount. I didn't quite see what the...
for his, when he's going to the casino?
Buck a hand. If it doesn't go to a flop, you don't need to tip $1. If it's if the pot is like super small, where let's say that it's less than $20, you can probably not tip $1 on something like that. But pretty much any type, any reasonable pot where you're like, okay, it wasn't just uncontested, then tip $1. And if you feel really generous and you really like the dealer for whatever reason, tip $2.
Like if she's really nice.
Yeah, don't feel like the size of the pot really needs to dictate how much you tip. And tip more based on the skill of the dealer and
customer service,
their attitude behind the box, and not so much on the results of any given hand. They're not doing it on purpose. They're not giving you a pot on purpose. They're not
not giving you luck.
This guy and pushing his chips your way because they like you more or did anything special that you feel that you should feel obligated to tip for. So tip him for a job well done. Don't tip him for a big pot won. Real below above. How you doing, man? He says, hey, Dutch, put a hat on, bro. You know what? I have the perfect hat, actually.
Hey, Ed M. 727. Yeah, I really like having a schedule too, and we don't get burnt out because we're only doing it 2 days a week.
What did I fold so I could put on a hat for you, Kevin? Pocket 8s. God damn it. Expensive hat. Well, I probably would have just ended up flopping bottom
Sorry,
set
Bonnie.
and making a tough call that was worse.
I'm munching because Dutch is making me angry. No, I'm just kidding. Dutch never makes
The
me
network
mad.
says socialism involves a central body, interpreting supply and demand rather than masses participating in the market. It's less efficient, but to say that it is completely divorced from supply and demand is overstating your case. Supply and demand are ironclad and inescapable, no matter what your economic system.
People need things?
Supply and demand are ironclad and inescapable,
That's probably right.
no matter what your economic
Maybe.
system.
Well, people need food.
I'm not really sure what that even means, so I'm not going
It
to.
means there's always going to be supply and demand for things.
Well, if
as
that's what it
people,
means,
I think.
then I'm probably going to go ahead and disagree.
Really? You don't
Sure.
think... I don't believe that at all, Dutch. You need things all the time. You're a very needy person, Dutch.
Market Anarchy asks. No, he said earlier. A person asked, "How do you read players in this environment?
In what environment?
Calling with King High and knowing you're good seems psychic." Well, because I'm psychic. That's how I can. That's how I can know King High is good. How else could I know? The coach starts with 6 hands and awards you coins based on your decisions. Sort of measures your advanced poker knowledge. I'm sort of liking it and like debating the play of some other pros. That's kind of cool. You know what, JD? I'll check it out. I'm sure it's the same one. I remember Dan O'Brien working on this, and I was asking him what it was about, and he was like, "Oh, it's this thing that Antonio's doing," and it looks like this is the same one. Huckseed has a pack.
What is this? It's a site?
$65 for 18 packs. So the only thing I would say, JD, Gangnam Style, firing out 1500. I'm going to go ahead and make the call with top pair, but I'm a little bit worried here that we're going to run into kicker problems. So we hit the diamond on the turn. Now we got a lot more outs. Getting a check behind. That 4 is probably an out. You know, now we're actually ahead of hands like Ace Jack, Ace 10, King Queen. So the only hands we're worried about here is Ace King, Ace Queen. Gangnam Style decides to go ahead and fire out a bet. So I don't think I'm going to make a raise. I think I'll just make the call here. Nice hand there, Gangnam Style. He could have actually got the full double up there. If you're going to bet out on the flop, you should probably be betting out on the turn too, Gangnam Style.
Hey, garbage all the time. Good to see you.
Is this right, JD Cole? That he says a lot of high school kids wanting to be poker pros compared to 10 years ago. Someone has canceled it. Is this right that there are more high school kids wanting to be pros now than 10 years ago?
You're brainwashing the
I
children.
find that hard to believe. I think that there has to be
Good influence, Dutch.
more back in the heyday of poker, pre-Black Friday.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I didn't really understand the whole poker thing until I got a little bit more exposed to it. I think there's a lot more exposure now and a lot more pros trying to get out there to put that meme out there. Which is good for you, Dutch. Good for your book.
So we're sticking with the 2.5x for a little while. One of the changes that we've made in the last few months is not tapering down as quickly or as completely. So now we hope not to get squeezed. Queen Jack of Spades. Horrible flop. 5-handed. Let's c-bet. Let's do the c-bet. If we can get through Dylan's dad and Gangnam Style, I think we get through Fat Zach. It's going to be really hard for anybody to call without a king. We're basically saying, damn it. Fat Zach makes the call. Makes a very quick check when a king hits the turn. And we might be bluffing off. Yeah. Nice hand there to Fat Zach. That's our stack, you guys, and that's our stream. Went ahead and tried to c-bet against 4 opponents, which was a little bit suicidal. The Fat Zach made the call, and we should be thinking, okay, well, he has a king. Then another king came on the turn, and I'm thinking, well, maybe he was just getting stubborn with a straight draw. Maybe he was just getting stubborn with a smaller pair. You know, pocket 8s, pocket 7s, I think that we can take it from him. But we're not getting him off of a king. It's never going to happen. Probably should have just been checking back and giving up instead of dusting off what was 14 bigs, so we still would have had plenty of opportunity to build it back up. So yeah, that's disappointing. But guys, we're going to take another shot tomorrow, and we'll be back at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for more great poker discussion. Got anything else you want to say before we say goodbye to the crew?
No, nothing. It was been a pleasure, guys. Remember to stay positive, be skeptical but not mean, and read as much as you can.
Yeah.
All we can do is educate our generations, because this generation isn't the last. There's going to be more kids. There's going to be more people, and things are going to be different. This is just a blip in the history of the world. Is that good?
Coming from
and
Nebula.
Be kind to each other.
Thanks, baby.
Yeah, and I thank you to everyone who participated in the discussion. I really appreciate all of your input and your insights. Thank you very much for being here, and don't forget to follow.
Hard nasty, I'm kind of with you. Guys, thanks again. We'll be tomorrow at 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. I actually have a little bit of an announcement I want to make tomorrow at 7. I'll make it about the middle of the stream at about 8.
If he remembers, because he might have a debate.
I'm not gonna forget. Also, don't forget, guys.
Does that mean you're gonna play a video game with me? Because you said you would.
I might, yeah. Yeah, I'll play. She wants to play Terraria.
Terraria. It's a very good game.
I'll play it a little bit. Hardcore Terraria.
But I am going to be what is a dictator in it, though.
By the way, Bonyfish, Dan is still around. He's doing a lot of traveling. He was visiting some family. I heard from him just this last weekend on Friday or Saturday.
Is he here in Vegas? We should go for dinner with him soon.
No, he's not here in Vegas. But he's still he still catches it when he can. But he's been doing a lot of traveling, so he did say hi to everybody. Actually.
Nice.
So you guys are awesome. We'll talk to you later.